No, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. It's still August, and I'm Lord Ryujin. Just wanted to take a moment to let you know that I have decided that I'm going to start doing videos on more than just a monthly occasion. This decision just kind of came out of nowhere, really. First of all, I don't have very much popularity, so it's not like people are watching me every day dying to see another Lord Ryujin video. But second, I often find it difficult to just figure out what I want to talk about each month. You know, it gets towards the end of the month and I start to think, what am I going to talk about? What was all the stuff that I wanted to express in one month? And I find myself usually just kind of clamoring about talking about nothing, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Is trying to figure out all that stuff, trying to remember everything that I wanted to say, all the responses to all the videos that I watched on YouTube or all the articles that I read, and talk about it. So this is why I decided to start doing videos on more than just a monthly occasion, because it's a lot easier, a whole lot easier, to take care of what I want to talk about when I have a specific 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long I want to take to talk about it. So with that in mind, today I'm going to talk about sort of the evolution of video games. I was out yesterday, out and about with a buddy of mine, and we were sort of retro hunting, you know, doing our thing that we do. And he kind of made this point that places are slowly starting to the selection is starting to diminish. They either have sports games or they have, you know, an abundance of games that are not relevant anymore. They don't have a lot of like Nintendo 64 stuff or Sega Saturn or even PlayStation 1 for that matter. I mean, let's take a look at places like GameStop and how they basically don't carry anything outside of this generation. I mean, let's face it, when the Wii U comes out, you'll probably still see some Wii games, but you're not going to see them anymore. I mean, when was the last time that you went into a GameStop and you were able to pick up a GameCube game? Even though the Wii can play GameCube games, when was the last time that you picked up a GameCube game from GameStop? It has very rarely happened for me because, at least to my knowledge, they quit taking current gens. You know, and that's sort of where the problem comes in for me, is because I'm a retro hunter. I like to have previous generations of games. You know, it's easier for me to get something in my back library than to stay current. You know, like a good example is Resident Evil 6. When that game comes out, I want it. I want to get Resident Evil 6. But Resident Evil 5 is more likely going to be on my list first because it's older. And because of that, I want to get Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 2, and all these, you know, you basically get where I'm going. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on this. You know, make sure that you leave a video comment, or post a comment down below, or anything. What do you think? Do you think that retro video games are sort of in the past? Well, they are, but you know what I'm saying. Is, you know, do you think that this is going to kind of diminish to where we don't even see them anymore, and trying to find a Nintendo game or a Sega Genesis game or heck, anything past the previous generation, honestly, is going to be harder to find? Because that's what I think. I mean, first of all, we're going over to digital distribution slowly but surely, and, you know, this news now that GameStop over in Europe is trying to sell used digital codes. Let that sink in for a minute, because I had to let it sink in for a minute before I fully understood that. I don't understand how that's going to work. To me, once you use a code, it's no more. I mean, that's just like this code that I got to download some Japanese game. I don't remember what it's called. But that code isn't good anymore. If I went and I gave it to you, you couldn't use it. So how does that work? Do they buy the... I mean, I don't know. But the point is that even when we're going over to the digital distribution, do you think that they're going to stop selling physical media altogether and just start selling digital? Because I hope not. Because for someone like me, it's all about the fine, and it's all about getting the old stuff. Because, yeah, do I go into play and trade, and do I like looking at the current gens? Yes. And I, look at this game, I really want to get this game, just as an example. But then it's like, but then I find this game over here on the Saturn, and it's like $10, and it's a game that I'm looking for. Here's Echo the Dolphin for Sega CD for $13. Oh my goodness, that's on my wish list. I really want to play that. Stuff like that. To me, they shouldn't. Even a place like Play and Trade that specializes in the retro stuff, they're sort of slowly being more sports driven. Like I went and looked at the Xbox 360 selection, and they had like a whole wall practically dedicated to sports. Because there's too many sports games, and there's too many music-based games that are just cluttering up the shelves. And the problem that I'm seeing is that really should not be the case. So this is why I want to get your opinion on it. Do you think that this is something that's going to fade away? Should this be something that should fade away? Because personally, no. I don't care if we have an entire backlog. The PlayStation 4 comes out, and you can basically, they've teamed up with Steam, for an example, and now you can download any game that you want for PS2, PS1, Dreamcast, Sega Genesis, anything. I don't care if they have that option. The collector in me wants the physical disc. That's just like I was reading news yesterday on Twitter that Nintendo plans to bring Shantae to the Virtual Console on the 3DS, which is great. Shantae, really, really great reviews for that game. A lot of people saying, it's great. I haven't been able to get my hands on it because eBay and Amazon and stuff like that are selling for over $100. So, but at the same time, I want to get my physical hands on the actual Game Boy Color version of Shantae. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, yeah, I can go on my Wii right now and I can download Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I can have them all right there. Same thing with my 3DS. I can go on and I can get, Link's Awakening and Minish Cap, and I can get all these games that I can put. But I want to have the physical copy. Because that to me is what it's about. It's about the find, and it's about finding that game, I mean, how much more fun is it to play Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo? There is nothing better. I mean, I'm playing it on a beautiful high-definition screen, and it's very colorful. And there's nothing like reliving that classic the way it was meant to be played on the Super Nintendo. Same thing with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Playing it with the Nintendo 64 controller is an experience all on its own that you cannot replace by simply playing it with the classic controller Pro. So I really hope that retro games don't go anywhere and that they continue to be around. And that places like GameStop, EB Games, and all these other places, that they wake up and they realize this is where the market is. I mean, they took these games out because, there's no market for them. So when the Vita comes out, they get rid of all their PSP games at a marketed price. Well, that's great and all, but what if somebody like me who has a PSP is looking for a PSP game? Now you don't sell them anymore and you've just lost business. No, I'm not interested in a Vita game. I don't have a Vita right now. I want PSP games. So that's my thoughts on the matter. Be sure to tell me your thoughts, as always. Like, subscribe, comment, berate me. Do whatever you feel like doing. But just, respond. And I'll see you guys next week with some other topic that I'll come up with.